Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to the Aquarian Adepts, my platform, our platform to become your spiritual server. And welcome to the daily reading for today, Tuesday, September 25th of 2018. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. I really gotta do a better job at getting these out earlier, but we're gonna keep going with it. So what do we have going on today? As you can see, for the cards, we do have the card of possibilities and the card of harmony, which translates to the Two of Wands and the Ten of Cups. And these are backed and supported, sponsored by the Sacred Geometry card of the Cosmic Flower. We've gotten this a few times before. I'll go ahead and read it though for you. It reads, the frequency of Cosmic Flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core from which we pour our magnificence out into the world. So we are coming off of this powerful full moon in Aries. I did make a video about this. If you haven't already, go check it out. It should be on my channel, probably in my astrological broadcast playlist where I spoke about this full moon. The moon today will still be in Aries. It will be transiting from about 2 degrees Aries to about 15 degrees Aries throughout the day. And the moon is just going to be making aspects generally throughout the day. It's going to, of course, square over to Saturn, sextile Mars, trine the North Node, and sextile the South Node. It'll oppose Mercury, and it'll come into a quincunx with Venus. And those are basically the main transits that the moon makes throughout the day. However, the big one of the day, the major current of the day, is the sun squaring over to Saturn at 2 degrees. The sun in Libra, Saturn is in shadow period, mind you, but it's going forward in Capricorn, its home sign, where it likes to be. And the sun would prefer not to be in Libra. Today's going to be an interesting day where we're definitely going to be wanting to find some type of peace and balance and harmony. It's interesting how we drew the harmony card, right? But then Saturn's going to be asking us to kind of look towards the future, make tough decisions, make cuts if we need to make cuts anywhere in our life. Do these things have long-standing vision? Can we move these things forward? But the square is going to bring about this tension and this opportunity for growth. I think it's interesting with these cards too, because when you have the Two of Wands, it's speaking to there being really, you could take one or two roads. And it's kind of interesting how even in my full moon video I talked about the aspect of the quincunx and how it's kind of like these two roads come to a point, and it's almost like if you're coming from the opposite end, it's like you're at that Two of Wands point. Like you can go either one way or the other. It's kind of interesting. So today is the day where you will have a decision to make. But this decision will be based off of the harmony that you feel within your heart, within your vessel. Because even though the sun is in Libra, which is very much so concerned about people, communication, in many ways it has to deal with, this, I don't know, when I think of Libra, I think of charisma, I think of savvy, and I think of this energy of, kind of moving throughout society in a somewhat fluid way. Although I would argue to say that Gemini is a little bit more fluid because of their mutable aspect. But Libra is very purposeful, and they choose their words carefully because they understand the power that comes from communication in the mind. So today is really going to be a day, I feel, where you are definitely going to be feeling more of this sense of inner peace and calm and harmony. But this is only really going to come when you make the decision to really live your best life. That's really the way I see this. This is about living your best life. This is about, yes, with the moon in Aries, of course, we're still going to be kind of riled up and passionate, even a little bit rash and impulsive, wanting to move things forward, wanting to go in one direction, wanting to at least make a decision on something and just act on it. But we do have this tempering energy with the Sun square Saturn. And the Sun square Saturn is always an interesting aspect. It's usually seen as a rather difficult aspect, but what makes this one even a little bit more difficult is the fact that the Sun is quote unquote in its fall position, which it doesn't, when we say that a planet is in its fall position, it means that it's not as strong there. But it's not like Sun and Libra people aren't strong people, and quite the opposite. Actually, they have a rather unique perspective while having the Sun in Libra. They have a rather unique perspective that kind of even gives them a leg up. So it's like, yeah, certain planets might prefer to be in certain signs, but that doesn't mean that there aren't pros and cons to every single planetary position. So even though the Sun is in its fall position, which is why we call this time the fall, or at least we've entered into the fall here in the northern hemisphere. Here in the southern hemisphere, you have entered into the spring. But this is really a moment where we must remember that true harmony comes from within us. And once we remember that true harmony and balance and peace comes from within us, then it will be a lot easier for us to make the decision on what direction to go with this Two of Wands. But it's really going to come down to whether or not we remember that true harmony and peace comes from within. And you know, we can look out into the world and see all the chaos, the strife, the struggle, the suffering, but that's only a reflection of what's inside each and every one of us. And I know a lot of people probably don't want to hear that, especially those within the spiritual community or the self-help community, because they don't necessarily want to believe that this darkness or this strife can exist within them. But if you're on this path, that's why we all have darkness, right? We all have that aspect of ourselves that is falling, right? We all have the shadow, you know? And this is not about neglecting our shadow, this is not about neglecting that side of ourselves, but this is about achieving this deeper sense of peace and harmony. And now the interesting thing I like about this card too, the harmony card, is that it shows these two dolphins. And dolphins are of course very, very powerful animals. What's even more interesting is that the dolphin is considered to be a totem animal of the sign of Gemini. And Gemini is and it kind of makes sense. Gemini can be a rather playful sign, very much so curious, but it's mutable. You can't really box a Gemini up because they're just going to kind of move around and they're very curious. And dolphins are rather curious creatures, and they're highly, highly, highly intelligent, very much so communicative. And then we have the eagle here, which is a totem animal actually of Aries, which, you know, traditionally it's a totem animal of Scorpio. But I think what the eagle is drawing on is that Mars influence of the Scorpio energy. And of course Mars rules Aries energy. Or at least they go together. So there's definitely, since the moon is in Aries, you know, that's what's bringing about this eagle and the Two of Wands, where really the way that we make this decision on what way to go is that we kind of have to expand our worldly view. We have to expand our view. We almost have to like kind of take ourselves out of our persona, or we have to take ourselves out of this limited perspective so we can see that there are so much more possibilities. It's like if you're on the ground and you see two roads diverged in a wood, but then if you fly up on the back of an eagle, you'll be able to see that there's so much more than that. And then as far as the Gemini influence, this moon of course is sextiling Gemini energy. And you know, we are actually going to be coming into later this week anyways, we're going to have a grand air trine. So, and of course we have Mercury, which rules Gemini energy in Libra, which it likes to be in Libra because it's air, right? But this is about us having, I would say, this malleability within our mind to, and when I say malleability, I mean that, like, not that you want to have a weak mind, that's not what I'm saying, but this malleability to where you actually allow yourself to think differently. And when you allow yourself to think differently, you will have this tendency and ability to attract different circumstances into your life, This is about, especially coming off this full moon, this is about if you think differently and if you think harmoniously, you will receive a harmonious gift back. You will receive a harmonious result back out of that thinking. Today is going to be a day where if we remember our inherent abundance and we remember our magnificence and we pour that out into the world, we'll begin to see the world shift for the greater. But of course, like with all things, especially with harmony and peace, it starts from within. That is it for your reading today. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you'd like a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to theAquarianAdepts.com. And always remember, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often.
Let your problems fade.